Hello, my name is Fox Knight, so they named it Fox. And I have the... I finished season 2 of Kid Cosmic. Which... I want to say this right now. I love this one. The season was really good. Where season 1 more dealt with Joe and, her kind of learning, or not, the first one dealt with, Joe, the hell, Kid. Like, Kid learning to, like, Kid kind of growing and learning stuff like that. This season focused more on Joe doing that, Joe doing that, and, like, the main crux of it, I guess, is her trying to become a good leader, which she's getting pulled kind of by, like, her two moms, or two mentors. Like, the jellyfish one's like, this is how you have to be a hero. And the mom's like, no, you have to be compassionate in this and this. And obviously she listens to the jellyfish lady. And basically shit goes wrong. The show is awesome. I liked it. And, you obviously get, like, the gist of, like, the lesson of that. Like, she needs to listen to her mom. Her mom needs to, like, stuff like that. Though there are some bits where I'm just kind of like... I kind of slightly disagree with the show, like, because the whole big conflict right now is Erodius, the planet killer, which is just a giant black planet, which I thought, like, in the end, like, maybe, like, Erodius was gonna have a stone of itself, like a black stone inside of it that, like, was gravity or something, but you never get that, sadly, unless it's gonna be in season 3. But Erodius is just destroying shit. Thanatos, who is basically Thanos mixed with Galactus, is basically Kid, and like he's like a Thanatos, like Thanos, like, oh my god, like. It's what the fuck? What is his name? Erodius! And, like, he's trying to collect the stones to complete his collection and all this dumb stuff. And I'm like, alright, fine, whatever. We get new stones of power, which I wrote them down, like, there's the original 5, and then there was, 4 arms, slime stone, stretch stone, invisibility stone, super speed stone, fire stone, ice stone, and energy absorption. Although it's called the pain stone. And it was a cool. It's a cool season. Like, it's a cool season seeing them all, like, use powers. Like, we see some of the background characters from season 1 like become kind of main characters when they gain certain stones of power, and like. Usually it goes through, if they get a new stone of power, they give it to the mom, Joe's mom, and like she uses it, and then she gives it to like one of the background characters that it more or less fits. And I kind of liked that little bit of storytelling there. Like that was a cool little thing. Again, some lessons like I kind of already understood, but also I kind of also like. I agree with, but then also don't, like, there's the episode of the pyramid, there's an episode of the pyramid where, like, they have to learn to, like, be patient and all this stuff, and, like, they have to go through these different challenges, but Joe's like, why do I need to go through all the challenges when we could use, you know, the powers we have to try and override it or beat it, instead of doing it, you know, I guess, quote-unquote, the correct way. We could do it the way that is, in a sense, more efficient and gets it done. I guess, in a sense, it's kind of the whole idea of if you do it wrong the first time, you got to go back and do it again correctly anyways. So I guess, in a sense, yeah, that is a good lesson to teach. But also on that same note, like, it's, like, at least from when they were using it, because they used their powers to get through it, and I thought in very creative ways. And I'm like, alright, yeah, you know what, that's not a bad idea. Like, using what you have for this. And then, but, oh, shit, what was it? But, like, because like there's some bits where like, oh, like this one challenge is happening, and it's like, okay, like I'm thinking like, okay, if this was Spider-Man, web up the top, go across, or just, you know, slinky your way across. You don't have to like do the do something like that. But whatever. And like Joe has to learn, okay, no, I had to take it by slow and do this so I could get the different tokens, so I could beat the game and save everyone. Like, all right, fine. Oh wait, did I put super speed? I don't think I did. Yeah, super speed stone. Yep. But that was cool. I like that. Like it does teach some cool lessons, but again, those were the bits where I'm just like, I don't know if I fully agree with certain of these lessons, but I get the gist of it. There are some bits where like I will say like, oh, you need to get from point A to point B. How do you do it? And like they're like, oh, use Rosa's giant growing ability to keep the ceiling up, and I'm just like, or just warp over there, Joe. But whatever. I'm like, all right, that's fine. There are some bits where like, oh yeah, you can just warp there, but I do find it kind of funny when the bad guy Thanatos gets like all of the stones multiple times in the series. They're easily stolen from him again, and I'm just like, I find that really funny. It's like, oh, I'm all powerful, and then just you're like, what the hell? I like the running gag that Kid never gets his main powers until like the very end where like the bad guy's defeated. Yes, he's been using like the slime stone, which I say is really good because he nearly dies like 4 to 5 times in the in the second episode, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it was funny. It was funny. My only thing that's like the weaker end of it is obviously the lesson that's supposed to be learned. The lesson that was to be learned by Joe, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I get it. But I'm okay with that. Like the lesson's still a good one to learn. But yeah, that was just my whole thing. It's like, okay, obvious message is obvious, but although I will say, like, again, another bit where I kind of went against like what the show was thinking was like towards the end, Joe like tries to be like, hey, okay, look. Ah, shit, my eye. Fucking again, messed up my eye. Alright. Okay. Like, there's a point towards the end where Joe's like, alright, you all need to become, you know, fighters because we need to fight to, you know, beat Erroneous! And they're not fighters. They're not destroyers. So, in the end, like, Joe goes, okay, well, you know, I'm going to give your stones to this one character that she met named Crush. And, like, you know, we'll give her the stones, and, you know, with her and, like, me, you know, we could easily beat Erodius and stuff like that. And, they're like, what? But in the end, I was thinking, like, well, yeah, she is a fighter. Like, how they're dividing the stones between those clones, even, like, showing later on when they fight with each other, like, it is, like, really good. And, like, even then, they work together well. I'm like, yeah, like, if anything, they do have a really good fighting chance, I guess. But in the end, like, they do get defeated. And then, spoilers, I guess, the character, like, betrays Joe. Though, it threw me off because as soon as Joe gave her all the stones, basically, I kind of just went, huh. I'm like, okay, is she gonna betray Joe? And she's like, no, she's working with it. I'm like, all right, I'm okay with someone like, you know, I'm not gonna judge her by looking at her and be like, oh yeah, she's a bad guy. It's like, no, she actually seems to be a good guy and seems to actually want to help Joe. Cool, I'm okay with this. Then it turns out she's a bad guy. I'm like, well, shit. And then she dies. Like, she just straight dies, vaporized. I'm like, oh my god. But it was funny. I'm trying to think. I do like that the powers separate. Like, a lot of the powers separate kind of don't really work, or like they're not really that good. It's like, oh, one stone gives you 4 arms. Not strength like 4 arms, the alien from Ben 10. It just gives you 4 arms. Like, all right, doesn't seem all that good. But that mixed with the stretch stone gives you super long range arms reaching out places. I'm like, okay, I like that combination. Okay, I like that. Super speed mixed with multiplication makes you super fast and basically a wrecking force. I'm like, all right. The giant stone mixed in with pain absorption or energy absorption. Those two mixed together are a destructive combo, and I'm like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Invisibility with anything pretty much works well. There's fire and ice. Those are kind of the more standard ones, but even then, those are still done well. It's actually like if you do giant with that, like you do giant torn of flame. But I don't remember if that was a combo they used, and it was cool. I like that. I'm like, oh hell yeah, this is awesome. I like this a lot. I don't want to spoil too much of it because go watch it. But it is really good. I like seeing again these characters working off of each other. I liked seeing the combinations of all the different stones, Thanatos, stuff like that. There is some bits again like where I was just like, Joe, come the hell on. Like at one point, like Joe's trying to again be a leader, but she's like, yes, we successfully pulled off this bank heist. Basically, we successfully pulled off this heist. Or at this party. We successfully pulled it off. Now let's stay at this party and enjoy ourselves. And I'm like, okay. I'm at the point where I'm just like, okay, one, you just robbed the place. Why the hell are you gonna stay there? And worst case scenario, I'm thinking, okay, here's the better case scenario of this. You can still go to the party. Fine. Use your warp stone, warp the fire and ice stone to the oasis, and boom, you're done. But no, none of that. There are some bits where the characters are just like, duh. But I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Fine, whatever. Let's see. Oh yeah, a new thing that they say is like, oh my god, which I'm like, isn't that like, is that an Adventure Time reference? I don't know. Biker aliens from Powerpuff Girls are in this. Kind of, if I remember correctly. Weren't there biker aliens in Powerpuff Girls that popped up in this? Actually, I want to bring up the Powerpuff Girls in a minute. That just one thing, if you don't, I'll say that in a minute. I will say also another thing. Because it is kind of a running gag basically at this point, where I bring up She-Ra, Princess of Power's Princess Prom. I kind of want to bring this up because to get the Fire and Ice Stone, they have to infiltrate a birthday party and basically throw a birthday party for a villain. Same episode that they had to steal the stones. And I'm thinking, you know what? This makes more sense. This makes more sense than that. Because it's like, okay, yeah, they can use this to their advantage to get the stones. And in the end, too, it's even said, like, look, if you hang around at this party, you're going to get screwed over. And, yeah, they get screwed over. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm sorry, I just had to bring that up real quick. Compared to, again, Princess of Power, which, again, with the Princess, I was like, why? I get Catra was able to do that, but I feel like anyone should have figured this out. I get it. Let's see. Get an alien character is a bad leader. Probably. Oh yeah, the jellyfish lady. I can't remember her name. She's a bad leader. Grandpa G figured out a way, or is it Grandpa G? Figured out a way to beat gambling, and it's to make sure you are all the players as well as the house. Joe could have sent all stones to Chuck. Yep. Chuck also gets sidelined through this entire season, which kind of sucks. I kind of would want to see more of him, but I guess they had to focus more on Joe's mom, which, it's fine. Joe eventually made the right call at the very end. I like how each new ring the mom uses before giving to everyone else. There's a xenomorph at one point. I'm like, all right. Joe dismembers one of her friends at one point. That happens. Giving the giant taller the energy absorbing ring is genius, yes, because giant with energy absorbing good. Get drinks. Oh yeah, kid gets drunk on ice cream like in the Owl House. That one episode, and I won't spoil too much, but I will say like Thanatos being, or not Thanatos, Erodius being this giant planet that also has all the powers of the stones. I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, that's very cool and very like powerful, I guess. But there are some bits where I'm like, shouldn't the pain absorption ring like be an end all be all for this thing? Like all the damage it takes, like couldn't it just fire all that energy back at them? Or like there are definitely like plot holes in this season. There are some really big plot holes depending on like, you know, whether to use the ring this way or to use the ring that way. Like Joe could have just teleported into this one place instead of having to do all the tasks. There are major plot holes in this if you actually think about it. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat that. There are major plot holes. But with that being said, it is still pretty damn good. And even like Joe using like learning how to use the ring and like teleport people away and like very like slick white. Like I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. And like basically right now I'm gonna say right now, I liked it. I definitely say go check it out. I love this season. I'm gonna spoil something that's kind of big. I'm not the final fight. What happens after the final fight? So be warned. Like, thing is, go see it. I loved it. Go check out my other videos. Thank you for watching. But so I'm gonna say it right now. All right. So after the fight, after the big fight and all that, the Powerpuff Girls come out. The Powerpuff Girls are in this, and I'm like, holy shit! It's the Powerpuff Girls. Like, it's not them, but it is definitely them. Like at the very end. First off, at the very end, I want to say this right now, when shit happens in this small town, like things like that, unlike Steven Universe or like these other places where it's, or like Gravity Falls or all these other places where it's like, oh yeah, it's a small town, no one, and like, but these giant things are happening, but it's affecting no one else on the planet. Things do affect everyone else on the planet, which eventually gets the government involved, which when the government finally comes in, they're like, oh hi, yeah. We're with the government, this one tall redheaded lady, this one blonde-haired lady, this one, she's darker skinned, but black-haired lady, come in, each with, I'm pretty much sure, familiar voices, and they go, yeah, we're with the PPP, something planet, it's the PPP, it's a joke on the Powerpuff Girls, and at one point I'm pretty sure they even say, like, to fight evil and crime and all that shit, like, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. Everything evil and crime, I'm pretty sure their names are all going to start with B when we figure out like who they are. But yeah, the Powerpuff Girls are in this. I was looking at them like, holy shit, it's the Powerpuff Girls. They even got the same voice actor. I'm just I haven't looked it up, but I'm going to go ahead and guess those are the voice actresses. Those are the original voice actresses of the Powerpuff Girls. And I love that. And like again, spoilers. I'm not going to try to spoil the ending. But I will say, like, at the very end, like, you know, the kid and them are brought in, like, look, if you want to join the government so you can be superheroes, and the kid's like, yeah, so, like, we might get, like, a Marvel-esque superhero thing at the very end, which I'm like, did not see this going for Season 3, thought we'd be able to still be more cosmic, but you know what, that's fine. But yeah, like, I was just like, oh my god, it's the Powerpuff Girls! Which I think the Powerpuff Girls have so many, like, references in other, I can't remember his name, I apologize. Genndy Tartakovsky? I think that's his name? I can't remember, I'm sorry. But, he had, like, the Powerpuff Girls make an appearance, like, in Follows Home for Imaginary Friends, where, like, they're on Frankie's shirt. There's connections between them and Samurai Jack. There's, like, all this other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I like this is cool. I think it was Billy and Mandy, there was a crossover there. I think they might have even appeared in Ben 10 at some point. I'm not entirely sure. But, or reference at least. But, yeah, I was like, I'm like, holy shit, the Powerpuff Girls! I'm like, hell yeah! I'm like, that is such an awesome... Also, it's really funny that both in this and the live action versions both made Buttercup black, or brown skin. I don't really like saying black, but brown skinned, and I'm just like... like, alright, fine, whatever. But, yeah, I was like, I'm like, holy shit, and like, I'm pretty sure that, because again, PPG for Powerpuff Girls or whatever their new acronym is, but Powerpuff Girls, and then, you know, the redhead, blonde, the brunette, and it's, I'm like, yeah, it's them, it's the goddamn Powerpuff Girls. I'm hoping in the next season we're gonna see them like use the Stones of Power to basically have their superpowers from the Powerpuff Girls. I'm hoping that's the case. Maybe even get new stones, but yeah, the season was cool. I liked it. It was fun. So much happened, and I'm just like, yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm trying to look through my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. Star Trek Aliens. The very end, they kind of do a Star Wars Rise of Skywalker thing with like all the ships coming in, and it's like, oh yeah, like everyone together and stuff like that. Herodias, I do feel like was kind of easy to beat, but not really. It's kind of weird. But, like, I felt like he was very kind of easy to beat. And I'm just kind of like, I feel like other people probably should have been able to do this by then. But, alright, whatever. But, yeah, like, the episode was cool. Again, the Powerpuff Girls reference really threw me for a little bit. I'm like, oh, shit. But, yeah, the episode was awesome. I liked it. Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Not really much else to add, I guess. It was a fun episode. It was a fun episode, and I definitely say check it out. Thanks for watching. Pursue your videos. Hopefully enjoy this, and we will. See you later. This is where the blue stone is, FYI.